My next guest takes on Brian Foster in the PFL tournament coming up here on June 21st. It is Ramsey Nijem joining me here on the program. Ramsey, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks for having me.
You're set to fight in this tournament, like I mentioned. I know you had a deal with World Series of Fighting before you went to the Ultimate Fighter. Was that just an extension of that, or did you have other options after the Ultimate Fighter?
After the Ultimate Fighter, I had a couple different options. Fighting overseas. Just fighting different organizations. But I was really patient. I really waited for the right one, and that's what I was super excited about this PFL thing. It was the right one. It came at the right time against the right organization. It's super new, super exciting. It's something different. I've fought a lot, and it's always fun to try new things.
I agree. I think this is awesome. And I was going to ask, when did you link up with Ali Abdulaziz? Because I just, out of nowhere, I noticed that you were managed by him. When did that come together?
Me and Ali have actually been working together for years now. Before I was on the Ultimate Fighter the second time, I met him, and we kind of kicked it off. We started talking. He said he'd help me. It was between my last UFC fight and the Ultimate Fighter, and I'm super glad to have him. He's helped me out a lot, and I'm super thankful for him in my life right now.
And how often is he hitting you up? I know that's one of the things I talk to the fighters, like in a good way, that he's really keeping tabs on you.
Yeah, he's actually like a super cool guy. He's calling, always offering help. He helped me tons with that Be Human refugee thing. He helped me tons with setting up camps, and he's just a super cool guy. He's got a black belt. He knows a lot about martial arts, and he just wants to help his fighters. Some people, he's kind of a polarizing figure at times, but to me, he's been nothing but love and respect.
Yeah, and all of his fighters say the same thing. Like, they get treated like gold, and I think that's something I try and bring up here just because I don't think a lot of people know from the fighter's perspective, the types of things that he does. So that's always nice having that in a manager. You referenced it there, the refugees. If people don't follow you on Twitter, what exactly are you doing for this PFL fight? It involves, bringing some refugees down. What's sort of the latest on that?
Well, my first question is, who's not following me on Twitter?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
No, I was just kidding. I'm so Be Human is an app. Basically, it's a social media app that tries to promote things like doing charitable stuff, doing healthy stuff, more like positive posts is basically all you can really post about it. Put cool pictures up, kind of stuff we all like to do and see positive social media. And I was working with them, and they said if we had I think 25,000 downloads, that they'd bring 20 Palestinian refugees to my first fight, and we got 28,000, I think, or something like that. It was pretty awesome. Everybody jumped in. Everyone helped me. It was a huge team effort. PFL actually was like super supportive of it. They helped share everything, helped get everything downloaded, and I'm super excited, man. It's just fighting's fighting, and it's super fun, and I love this. But to be able to give back to your community is a super important part of this fighting.
And what sort of drew you to this? I mean, have you been doing humanitarian work for a while, or what sort of, is this something new for you?
I've always done different kind of humanitarian work, especially, being Palestinian. I'm super blessed to be born here in the States, and I just want to take advantage of it. I have a comfortable life here. I'm super safe. Everything's, amazing when you live here in the States. And so I try to give that, give opportunities back. I've donated percentage of purses before. I've done different free seminars and just a bunch of different things that, whatever can come to my mind that is helpful. I got time and I got energy, I'm going to keep on helping people.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely plug all that at the end. I really want to get the word out about that. But let's talk about the tournament. You got a tough matchup in the opening going. All these matchups are pretty much tough. This is one of the deepest divisions here. But you're fighting Brian Foster. Just thoughts on the matchup? He's got the 27-10 record. He's fought sort of the who's who in World Series of Fighting / PFL.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting when they told me I was fighting Brian. It's kind of obvious that they're not trying to, give anyone any easy matchups in the season. They're trying to make the most exciting fights. Obviously Brian's the most dangerous fighter at our weight class, and that's, kind of the common consensus. He's fought everybody. He's super veteran. But then also I fought everybody. I'm a super veteran. I've knocked out top 10 people in the world. I fought, champs and everybody who's anybody. If you look at my list of fights, I've fought a lot of tough guys. But then with that being said, I'm also the best I've ever been. I've been training longer. Brian's great and he's dangerous and everything like that, but I feel I'm just more stepping into my prime now, which is a really amazing feeling. I've been fighting in the best organizations, fighting the best fighters, training with the best trainers, training with the best training partners, doing all this for the last 10 plus years. And I did it all before I was even 30, which is awesome because, I feel amazing. I feel stronger than I did when I was 22. I feel smarter. So I'm really excited for this Brian fight. It's a great fight because he's a great opponent to showcase all my work I've been doing.
And I think a lot of people still feel like you should be in the UFC. We don't need to get into that, but I know there's some controversy in that one fight you had. But let's talk about training camp. Where are you training right now, and who are some of your main training partners?
So I'm training in Salt Lake City. That's where I live. I train everywhere. I train with the best guys I can in Utah. I train at a gym called Temple MMA. I work at the UFC gym. I train with Court McGee. He's a longtime training partner. Basically, since I was in college, we've been training together. I have another fighter that I train with. His name's Nathan Kersley. He just won, I think, his like fifth pro fight in a row. And we got a good team. I go to a jiu-jitsu gym to do my jiu-jitsu, which is actually, to be honest, one of the biggest, newest things I've added in my game is consistently doing jujitsu. Like I've always trained jujitsu, but I don't ever go to class and warm up with the class, drill moves. I usually just go to the live rolls and just roll really hard. But lately, I've been really focusing on going and learning jujitsu from the beginning.
Excellent. I know one of your teammates, Steven Seiler, is actually training at Factory X where Brian is. Is he passing along any secrets your way about what you can expect?
I know. What can you believe that? Usually, I train with Steve. I was gonna name him, but he's at Factory X now. He's a traitor.
Yeah, because I talked to him earlier. That's why I know that he's training there. So I found that kind of interesting because Brian's been a mainstay at Factory X for a while.
Tell him he's a traitor.
Yeah, well, yeah, I already spoke to him, so I'd have to follow up. But yeah, that's interesting. So either way, it's.
I'll text him last night talking, so I'll tell him.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have to train differently at all because this is a tournament? I mean, you were on The Ultimate Fighter, so I know you've sort of been through that before. But is there anything a little bit different about this that it is a tournament?
One thing that's a lot different is health. That's my big focus. And to be honest, it's not because of the tournament. It's just because I've gotten older. I've learned a lot about fighting. I've learned about training. I used to, train so hard and I'd be overtrained, overweight. My body wouldn't lose weight because I was so overtrained and I was like, oh man, I got to work out 10 times today. I got to go running. I got to do this. And my performances weren't the best. And so lately I've been really focusing on being the healthiest Ramsey Nijem, being the strongest I can. And I think that's a super important aspect to go into this tournament.
I agree. I think it's going to be great. How about the weight cut? Is that a fairly, is that a process you've sort of mastered at this point with tournaments?
I mean, weight cutting is a process I've kind of mastered now. I've, worked with perfecting athletes for years. They taught me so many secrets. I've been cutting weight literally since I was a middle school kid wrestling, and so when everyone always asks me about cutting weight, I'm used to it. I'm like, man, I was a little kid. We'd have Thanksgiving dinner, and my mom would be like, "Here's your bowl of vegetables," and everyone else here gets turkey, and so I'm used to it, And it's a science, Your body's just a machine. You cut more calories than you take in, and you lose weight. It's that simple.
How do you see this fight playing out on June 21st?
I really see this fight ending in the first round for me. I'm going to go out looking for that first round finish. I know we get bonus points with that, so I want to score as many points. And to be honest, I want to fight as little as I can in this tournament. I want to go out, finish every fight in the first round, and go looking. I know Brian's going to come out looking for that finish as well, and so I'm going to go out and weather his storm and go out and finish him in the first round.
Who do you think is the toughest fighter in the tournament besides yourself?
At 55?
Yeah.
I definitely think Brian Foster's one of the most dangerous ones. Like there's that Russian dude who's a really good wrestler. He's pretty dangerous because he might go down and hold you down or something like that. That's all he's going to do. But as far as being dangerous and fighters, I definitely would say Brian is.
Okay, good answer. I talked a bit there about you being on Ultimate Fighter season 25. How was that whole experience for you going back on the show and going through the house again?
Going back to the house the second time was definitely, a challenge just because you knew what you were kind of getting into. You understood that you're going to be locked in this isolated environment. You're going to have to be fighting these people you lived with. You're going to have to be in this tournament. So I was a lot more prepared the second time, not only mentally, but physically, emotionally, and everything. It is what it is. I kind of like the tournament style. I think it's fun. To be honest, I would like more Kumite style and less rounds, and just kind of let us fight and see who the best fighter is. One round, and
You said Kumite there. Am I guessing Bloodsport's one of your favorite movies?
of course, Bloodsport's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, it's literally my favorite movie of all time. I could
Oh
probably
yeah,
recite it word by word. So
yeah. I mean, I've seen Bloodsport a million times my whole life, so I love it.
it's not just good because of the action. I mean, it really was ahead of its time for some of the stuff they were doing. But there's
Yeah.
some parts the acting's so bad that it's actually hilarious. Like some of the stuff that they say, like Van Damme getting angry. Like I laugh when I watch some of it. It's excellent. It's got a bit of everything.
Oh, dude, or a kickboxer when he gives that little dance, like those are the funnest movies, the good fighting action movies, and definitely uh, determined my life a lot off of Bloodsport. I'll be honest.
Yeah, there's that great line where the cops show up at the hotel. Ray Jackson looks at the guy, and I think it was Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker says, "It's not your business, pal." Ray Jackson turns around and says, I ain't your pal, dick face." Like, who writes this stuff?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm gonna start telling people that I ain't your pal, dick face.
Exactly. You should do that. Yeah, you should do that after the fight or something. You should have done that on the media day when they you had some of the lightweights there. You probably ran into them. You should have said, "I ain't your pal, dick face," and then they really knew what's going on there.
Oh yeah, well the media day thing was pretty fun. I mean, we all ran into each other, and it was pretty funny. There's 72 fighters all fighting each other, and everyone was just kind of chilling, cool, hanging out at the pool, swimming, getting food, and it's so funny because everyone's thought of, oh, you bring all the fighters in the same tournament, it's gonna be this crazy thing, and they're gonna be all talking crap to each other. We're all like sitting poolside, drinking margaritas, just having a great time.
That's awesome. Speaking of a great time, this fight's taking place June 21st. Like I mentioned, it's PFL 2018 number 2 coming up here. Ramsey, it was great getting a chance to talk to you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I would appreciate everyone to give me a follow on at Ramsey Nijem on whatever your thing is, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's all the same. Luckily, I got a unique name and I grabbed it all, so easy to find. Also, check out Be Human. It's a fun app. Get on there and play around, share some cool stuff that you're doing. I like to thank my sponsor, Cryotherapy. I'm always there, getting ready for my next fight, and yeah, I'm just excited to put on the best Ramsey Nijem that we've, ever seen, that I've ever seen. And I feel excited. And, to be honest, it's been a long time coming for me to get back in that cage. And I hope everyone watches and sees my performance.
What's up, fight fans? If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to see even more interviews with your favorite UFC and Bellator fighters. We've also got coverage at events, including post-fight press conferences and media scrums. And if you like this video, check out the video to my right. It's worth your time.